What is binary opposition? In informatics, we learned about the binary system in which the computer stores data using the values of 1 and 0. Binary means 2. In theory, you will hear this term being used quite often. This is because binary is useful as it helps us to communicate information in the easiest of ways. That is why we use binary to communicate the reality we see. There is a reality and we need language to communicate that reality. As little kids, we are introduced to the world around us through these concrete opposites: on, off, yes, no, light, darkness, right, left, up, down. A binary opposition is a pair of related terms, related terms or concepts that are opposite in meaning. Binary opposition is a system of language or thought by which two theoretical opposites are strictly defined and set off against one another. It is a contrast between two mutually exclusive terms such as us, them, on, off, up, down, left, right. ഒന്നുകിൽ ഓൺ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഓഫ്. ഇപ്പൊ രണ്ടും കൂടി ഇടയിലുള്ള ഒരു സംഭവം ഇല്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. They are mutually exclusive ആണ്. So we grow and build our understanding using this knowledge of binaries and learn complex concepts based on these binaries. These binaries become the basic units of our thought, both as individuals and as members of a culture. Saussure and other structuralists talked about how as individuals we are part of a system or structure. This structure is constituted by language. We make sense of the things around us in relation to other concepts. Think of how you define darkness. When there is no light, it is darkness. When it's not on, it's off. Binary opposition is an important concept of structuralism which sees such distinctions as fundamental to all language and thought. So far, so good. We have a set of two terms which helps us understand the world around us. Okay. Structuralists went a step further and also proposed that one of the terms in the binary is usually given priority. This is usually given the first position, man, woman. നമ്മൾ പറയാറില്ലേ ഇപ്പോൾ ആൺ പെൺ വ്യത്യാസമില്ലാതെ എന്ന്. വി റെയർലി സേ പെൺ ആൺ വ്യത്യാസമില്ലാതെ. പൊതുവെ ആൺ പെണ്ണാണ് ആദ്യം വരിക. Because the male is given more prominence than the female. ആ ബൈനറിയുടെ ഒരു പ്രശ്നം തന്നെയാണത്. Now, man is given more importance than woman in that hierarchy. Think of other terms. What values do we ascribe to the first term? Isn't the second term subservient to the first in the hierarchy? On, off, up, down, heaven, hell, good, evil, good, bad, clean, dirty, rational, irrational, male, female, civilized, uncivilized, and so on. The concept of binary opposition is important in structuralist thought. And anthropologist Claude Levi-Strauss, in his book The Raw and the Cooked, said that all cultures depend upon the structure of the binary opposite. He focused particularly at how the so-called primitive cultures used the opposition culture nature. Another binary which he used was that of engineer and bricklayer. Structuralists theorized that a world view exists in terms of binaries, in which one term governs the other. So they stressed the need to reverse these binaries to shift the power dynamics. ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു ബൈനറി ഉണ്ട് എന്നും അതിലൊരു ഹൈറാർക്കി ഉണ്ട് എന്നും ഇവർ പറഞ്ഞു. ഇനി ഇതിനെ ഒന്ന് തിരിച്ചിടണം, എന്നാലേ ആ പവർ ഒന്ന് മാറുള്ളൂ എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഇവർ പ്രപ്പോസ് ചെയ്തത്. Think of how the seemingly natural dichotomy man-woman has represented the power play. Until few years ago, being female meant, being a woman meant divinely bound to serve the man, unable to vote, unable to engage in various professions other than that of a housewife. Think of the prejudice people show towards female drivers. An accident occurs irrespective of whether the fault is on the part of the male driver. People say female driver. She doesn't know how to drive. വണ്ടി ഓടിക്കാൻ അറിയില്ലല്ലോ, എന്തിനാണ് വണ്ടിയൊക്കെ എടുത്ത് ഇറങ്ങിയിരിക്കുന്നത് ചോദിക്കാറുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ social structures thus depend upon this dichotomy. The slash between male and female being it's a solid and dependable and keeps both sides apart. ആ ഒരു സ്ലാഷ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, അത് രണ്ട് കാര്യങ്ങളെയും വേർതിരിച്ച് മാറ്റി നിർത്താൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കോൺക്രീറ്റ് സിമ്പിളായിട്ട് മാറിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. So one term in a binary opposition is what it is because it is not the other. Male is what is not female, and female is what is not male. Structuralists thus succeeded in bringing to light such power dynamics at work. Okay. But they saw these terms as mutually exclusive. അവിടെയാണ് ആ പ്രശ്നം വരുന്നത്. Mutually exclusive means one term does not share the characteristics of the other. So if one term is on, it cannot be off. You might find binaries which might contradict this argument made by structuralists. You would also feel some of these binaries are not mutually exclusive. Man, nature, there are plenty of, we share a lot of characteristics. Civilized, uncivilized, or a savage. Then action, inaction, ignorance, wisdom, good, bad, domestic, foreign, heterosexual, homosexual, presence, absence, and speech, writing. These terms are really not mutually exclusive. Derrida challenges this fundamental classification which defined the Western worldview. He asks what happens if we could not tell the difference or did not make all the gender distinctions that we are accustomed to. What if we dissolved that slash? ആ സ്ലാഷ് ഇല്ലാതെയായി, അപ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു വേർതിരിവ് ഇല്ലാതെയായി, എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കും? അപ്പം അങ്ങനെ കോൺക്രീറ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു ഡിഫറൻസുകൾ ഇല്ലാതായി എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കും? What would happen to language and our systems if we did not divide the world into these two opposite categories? This is the basic question that reconstruction poses. What would happen to the way we think about the world if we did not start with the basic premise of binary opposition? This is a fundamental task of deconstruction. It challenges such binary oppositions which restricts the free play of meaning.